flustered. Not flustered, but I literally just ushered someone out the door at 3 minutes till so that I could get in here to do this. Because I was doing what I do. And when Teresa asked me, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just me. I do vendor events, which is great. But what I think really makes the difference is listening to the needs of the person. So that's what I think that's what makes the difference, right? I'm not trying to just sell them Young Living. I'm trying to help them get a product that is going to make a difference in their lives for whatever their need is. So for example, the lady that I just enrolled, she's a friend of mine. We've built a friendship over the past couple of years.
When you say just enrolled, you mean right before you got on here?
Yeah. Yeah. Like she just went out the door. I built a relationship and a friendship with her through church. We both started the church that we go to now about the same time, and we both work on the women's ministry together. She was wanting to get some products for hormone support back earlier in the fall, and then her father unexpectedly passed away, and it wasn't the right time, right? So I had a class on December 1st, which was a make and take at a different location. It was at an art house. And what we did was, it was a wind chime make and take. It was just a fun activity to get together, and it was a diffuser wind chime. I talked a little bit about oils. I gave everybody a little sample and a little roller. And I had an infrared for them to try. They really liked it. Then they were at the vendor event that I was at last weekend. I made sure to bring my infrared Wolfberry book and said, hey, while you're working, if you have any downtime, if you want to look at, these are some of the benefits of that product. And then they looked at that, and they, being her and her mom, she lived with her mom to help with her. And they were interested in the product. So we scheduled today for them to come over, and it ended up just being her, which I always believe that's what God intended, right? Sometimes we think that it should be all this or it should be all these people. He'll put the people at the table that you need to be with for that moment. And so we just spent a really great time talking together, listening. I use a Zytoscan, and we did the Zytoscan. And, she thought she needed hormone help. She did. I would have used Progestins Plus. She's 46 years old. She scanned for Endoflex. Endoflex is what she needed. I would not have went there for a 46-year-old female. I would have went to Progestins Plus. I still wouldn't have been wrong, right? But having the tools and the resources help. I pulled out my desk reference book, and we looked at it together. We looked at what was in Endoflex and compared that to what her Zytoscan said. She has blood sugar issues. So we knew, I was telling her, I really think you're going to need Octo-T. She scanned for it. I love when that works out that way. It validates that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, but also then it goes in jive with what hers going on in her body. So listening is the biggest thing that I do. And working on their time instead of just trying to sell them something. I could have sold her a kit real quick last weekend at the vendor event. I could have sold her an infrared kit. That's what her mom was interested in, real fast. But that would have just been a sale. That wouldn't have been a connection. That wouldn't have made the difference in their lives. Her mom chose not to come today. That's okay. I said, well, are you going to order the stuff your mom wanted, or what do you want to do? She goes, my mom needs to come here and do this herself and see the product and do it. I said, well, then I'll reach out to your mom and set up her own time. And then I'll sell an infrared to her mom if that's what she still wants after she does a scan. So it's connecting with people and then listening to what they need. So I had a lot of exposure over the past 3 months. I started doing vendor events again. I know Nicole does a lot of these as well. At a vendor event, I've highlighted thieves a lot lately because I get a lot of questions about that, or people will say, oh, that thieves, that's good stuff. And then I start a conversation about that. At a vendor event, I always have a follow-up activity. So there's always going to be a class of some sort, whether it's online or in person, that someone can go to. So my event, I did an event December 3rd. I have queso and combo that was advertised for everybody to come to on December 14th. There's no obligation there. You just show up and I buy the queso and you eat and we hang out, kind of like porch talk, just at the local Mexican restaurant. I try to find a way to get their phone number or email, whether I have a giveaway. I always have my QR code available to my link tree, which has my Facebook, my Instagram, and my upcoming classes on it. And then if I have a conversation with someone and I feel like they're truly interested in a product, I make a note about them after they leave. Because you talk to a lot of people and then you can't remember who was who, or someone will randomly text you and it'll be like, hey, this is Tiffany from that vendor, that Christmas bazaar. Well, I've done 3 Christmas events and I can't remember your name. You know what I mean? So like if I have a little note, then I'm going to know. And then I just follow up. I follow up with people, whether that's text, Facebook Messenger, commenting on their stuff. Hey, how are you doing? I had a lady on the 3rd that was very interested. She said, I'd asked mom to get me a young, like early 20s, new baby. She's like, I didn't know you could use this with kids. I was really wondering, because I always put my kids' sense oils out and then have a handout. And on my handouts or my pullaways or take away, those kinds of things, I have a sticker that has my QR code and my name and my information on it. The QR code again, going back to my link tree, which has all that same stuff on it again. And I said, take this with you. And I would love to have your number to follow up. And I sent her a text the other day. She hasn't responded. It's okay. It's okay if she doesn't. It's okay if they get it from somebody else. I no longer approach this out of a sense of fear or scarcity mindset. If she's meant to sign up with me, I'll do my best to make a few contacts. And if that happens and she enrolls with me, then I'm the person she's supposed to be with. If she goes with someone else, then that's where she's supposed to be. Either way, if I was the avenue to changing their home into a cleaner, healthier home, so be it. And I just listen. And that's really it. I show up for work every day. I don't call in.
Okay, you've mentioned a lot about vendor. So do you think this is how you've gotten the most contacts in the last few months, doing a vendor event?
Probably. I should have been more prepared for this meeting.
I'm just going to ask questions. So
no, because I feel like I should have gone back through my last couple months and looked who had actually even enrolled to say that. A group of those people were off of a post I made on Facebook and Instagram about sleep with the cedarwood, because if people who really knew me knew what I struggled with sleep. So enrolling that person was 13 PV. It's very different than enrolling someone with a kit, right? From a financial business perspective, still gets them in the door. So there was a handful of those 19 that were from that, but then that is mine. Yes, I'm teaching a class. And then, I think at vendor events, there's been some people that bought just an oil, right? Versus, oh, do you have Christmas spirit? No, but you can sign up and have it sent straight to your house, that kind of thing. So there hasn't been a huge jump in my OGB where 2 years ago, when you would have signed up 19 people, that'd be $1,900, 1,900 PV, right? So I think that's something to really take into consideration when you hear that number, is that it may not always be a huge volume from the PV or OGB perspective. But again, it's listening to what the person needs. Could I sell them a kit and they still need them? And we all need a kit, right? But sometimes it's more about for me, it's more about meeting them where they're at and what they need than it is making the sale.
Okay, you have them in the door, you have them as your members right now,
Mhm.
even if it was 13 PB. You have them there. Now they're going to, you follow up, they're going to get information on other products. Am I right?
Right. So everyone who enrolls with me, I don't mail them stuff. I don't send them a bunch of gifts. Amazon doesn't send me anything for signing up with them. I'm not a gift giver. It's not my thing. The lady that I just signed up here, I did give her a couple little things. She was right here with me. She's interested in animals. She has like 4 dogs. So if you know me well, it's fun for me to go to her house. But I sent her an animal and I like Animals 101 book, right? And then she saw my animal desk reference book. Or we pulled out my desk reference book and I said, oh, I have one of those for animals too. And she got all excited. Well, of course, Life Science Publishing no longer has it. And I said, you know what, you can borrow mine for a little bit. But if somebody calls me about animals and oils, you're going to be the one looking it up for me until I get the book back because it's not my thing. And I just tell people that too, right? Like, I just know where to go find the information. I don't know all the stuff. You need to know where to go find it. And then that's how you can bless other people. But they get access to my group, which is only for my customers and people who are enrolled underneath my team, however you want to call it that. And then they get free Zyto scans every month. I can do them virtually as well, so all over the country if they wanted to. Most people don't take advantage of that monthly, and I really encourage them only to do it every 2 to 3 months where they've at least used the product from the last scan at least 60 days.
Okay, let me interrupt to ask you this. Do you have the mega Zyto scan or the basic one? What are you looking at?
I do the Zyto Balance. So it was a $500 investment and I pay $50 a month. They are free to my customers and their immediate family. So like this lady that I just signed up, I would scan her and her children free.
Mhm.
And then I charge $20 otherwise. If I'm sending it, I pay for the shipping there and they pay for the shipping back. So we split the shipping because I have to ship the Zyto device to them. And then if you have a Zyto scan, I can do them remotely if you have one, but you don't have the subscription anymore. But I do charge for that because it's my time. And then they get discount ionic foot baths as well. And I do a lot of education. I send out a newsletter monthly.
Is
I
this
don't do
email or snail mail?
email. I don't have time to write stuff out and I don't send texts because I don't like them. So I send out an email. And then I post in my group, hey, make sure you check your email. I've sent out a newsletter. I do giveaways sometimes. Like I did 7 days of giveaways for their 8-day sale. So then I had to go, oops, I can't do math and did an extra day. Nobody complained about another day of free gifts. And I use Rapplecopter to do that. But I don't give out a bunch of stuff. I know I did in the past because somebody else was doing it. So I thought I needed to do it. And I was like, that's not authentic to me. I just need to be realistic to who I am. And yeah, I just take the time to listen to people. And I think that's.
But the question, I mean, I think that's brilliant, but the question is, where do you get the people? So is it vendor events on Facebook?
Vendor events, Facebook, and just personal connections, just friends and family, and listening to what their need is. I saw somebody post the other day, and I hate that I missed it. And she's not even. She already has oils. Her mother-in-law sells them, but she was sick with the flu, and while she was sick, her breast milk dried up. And I was like, oh man, I wish I would have seen that post sooner. I'd have told you to be taking fennel, right? And I messaged her and I said, you can still try it. If it's only been a few days, it might come back. Because she was having trouble finding the formula that her baby needed off the shelves now that her breast milk had dried up. So I listen to people's needs and just and ask questions. Like Dan has always said, ask questions. That's on social media. That's in day-to-day life. I don't feel like I do anything special. I love vendor events to get new connections and to get a warm market.
Okay, the vendor events that you're doing, are they church events? What are they?
Anything that works for my calendar. So the one that I just did in December was at our church, and I actually set it up. It was in charge of the whole thing. Because I would rather have done that than to sell meat sticks or rod of knives, right? For a women's ministry. So that was that one. I've done them at different craft fairs, fall festivals, outside, inside, electricity, no electricity, 2-day events, 1-day events. There are different Facebook groups. If you're interested in doing vendor events, look in your local community. We all live all over, but there are vendor event groups where other people say, hey, I'm going to have this, and they post in there, we need vendors for this. I'm not afraid to travel to go to them. I'd actually like to do some out near my son in 2023 so that I can ride off going to see my kid. Because I'm all about write-offs. But also, like, you want to make sure you fit in with the topic of the event too. Like, if I'm going to go to I went to an event that was for rescue animals. That's not my jam. No offense. But I'm not opposed to it either. So I made sure I took stuff that was about animals and oils. And I was able to read a few things about dogs, and mainly dogs, right? Because when people think of rescue animals, they mainly think of dogs. I read up on that a little bit. I was prepared and had resources available so that when people ask questions, I could hand them something or they knew. But like, you may not want to go to something that's just off topic with who you are, right? That you're just not going to feel comfortable at. When you look at those
Anyone
groups.
have any questions for Sarah? It's your time to quiz her. I thought Nicole was waving. Nicole, are you still there? She walked off.
I am still here.
The other Nicole was waving.
Now.
Well, Nicole Coburn was waving, so I thought she may have a question, but she walked off. So do you have anything? Because you're going to be doing this soon too. You just don't know it. Okay, anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Since
Yeah.
I'm new to Young Living, is there anywhere that you recommend getting resources? Y'all mentioned, I think, Life Steps, and that's been super helpful. But I know Life Science was a big one that recently closed. Do y'all recommend anywhere else like that, or know anywhere I can get information?
I don't use Life Steps other than the free things because I just don't pay for stuff.
I love it.
I love free stuff too. So far I've only utilized the free options just because it seems like a lot of money and there's a lot going on right now. So the free stuff's been great. I just didn't know, like you mentioned, like thieves and people that have kids. And it's just, I'm always worried about like, oh, what's kid safe, and
So there's Aaron Rodgers has Oil Supply Store, I think it is. They have some nice resources there. People like to take away stuff, even if they're going to throw it away. And I used to not have business cards, but I've gone back. I invested in some business cards again, even though I have the QR code. So I have the people that will scan my QR code and go there and follow me on Facebook. But then I have also, there's people that like to have that business card to follow up with you that way as well. The biggest thing you can do is find a way to get their information so you can contact them back. And here is something, and I'm going to circle back to your question. I apologize, but if I don't say this, I'll forget it.
No.
I have an issue right at this moment. So today is the 11th, right? So I'm literally in the 11th hour, on the 11th almost. Someone I signed up on November 12th, I went in because if I sign somebody up on loyalty rewards, I say to them, I will contact you 2 days before your order is supposed to go through to see if there's anything else you want or if you want to cancel. If you give them the option out, they don't feel as restricted. I went in there and phone number in there. So whether I put it in or not when I enrolled them, or if I just can't see it anymore, but I had her address and her email address. So I emailed her and she,
Could you mute yourself if you're not talking, because there's a lot of background noise now?
I'm so sorry.
I emailed her last night, then to the email I had. She responded, I just saw this afternoon, not very enthusiastically. And I'm going to try to get things taken care of before her card processes tonight, but it's also Sunday at 4:30, right? So I'm going to have to get on the regular chat or call the regular Young Living line because the others aren't available. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to set up her account, she said, and that means she didn't change a PIN or set up a PIN. So I'm going to try to handle it before I call her back because I told her I would, right? So when you enroll someone, make sure their phone number is getting put in there because not everybody checks their email. And 2 people that I enrolled that day, their phone number wasn't in there, whether I didn't put it or by accident or it was blocked out to me. I don't know why, but just a heads up on that. Oil supply store is a great place to have resources. Always put your sticker or something on there for people to be able to contact you back. Because otherwise you're just educating them for someone else. Again, I do believe they'll end up signing up with who they're at, but if you don't give them an opportunity even to find you again, then you're gonna, you're gonna lose that no matter what. There's another place.
I put
And I'll
on
try to
Growing
put it-
Healthy Homes. I don't know what resources they have other than books, but they did have some.
They
Yeah,
have a freebie once a month too, the beginning of the month.
They
And
have a
normally
what?
they're like labels or something you can give away, like come to the class and then you'll get a label or something they can put on their thieves spray bottle, or has a recipe. Like they're very usable.
Who has that?
Growing Healthy Homes.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
And they're nice, like very
Yeah.
nice.
I like to, Cindy Castano blessed me with some thieves, pull away things. And because cleaning products are relatable to people and easier to understand than essential oils if they're not comfortable with them, right? So everybody cleans, whether we don't all clean the same, we don't all clean as often, but everybody cleans at some point, right? So understanding I could put this one bottle under my counter and I don't have to worry about my kid or my dog getting into it versus having 5 products and have to be concerned about my kid or my dog getting into it is relatable and obtainable and makes sense to people. So I like to have a pull away or a handout of some sort about the thieves line. And that came from Erin Rogers when she gave me that. So I'm going to go back and purchase those. Someone else is going to fulfill that need. If Life Science Publishing stopped it, someone else will fill that need. So just watch for that.
Young Living told us, we had a meeting right before it was announced, and they told us, we can assure you this is not going to go empty. We're taking care of it. So I don't know what that means, but something will take the place of life science.
There's money to be made there. So
Exactly.
someone will do it, right?
And so much of it was Gary's personal stuff, that he developed. So Young Living owns the information. So they're going to use it.
Right. And Mindy said there's some great stuff online. So at Young Living, it's just printing things out and those kinds of things and having those resources. I personally would rather buy a packet on how your essential oils with your garden and be able to hand that out in the spring when I go to the farmer's market or I go to somewhere, you know, I try to gear, I always have some oils, no matter what, at our event, because that's how we started when I do a vendor event. But then I cater the rest based upon where I'm going. Now I also always have thieves. I would say that's something newer this last half of this year that I started doing. And I do, and now my husband does vendor events as well. So we do them together. So people think it's cute that we're there, husband and wife. And that sometimes is a little bit stressful because I'm helping him. But then he turns around and helps me because he could say, oh, I use White Angelica every day. If you haven't seen my husband's plug for White Angelica video, I need to find it and share it again. It's hilarious. It's literally like a commercial. It's so good. But listen and don't rush. That's yeah. So Casey, I don't know if I completely answered your question, but Aaron Rodgers is the only one I could think of off the top of my head for pull away things.
No, you did. That was really helpful. And even like with the handouts, because I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do at a vendor event. So that's kind of helpful, like to maybe be more prepared and have a few handouts. And you mentioned some really good resources and to get phone numbers. Because I've had a few people that like seemed interested and then it was like, oh, wait, I should have gotten her phone number to like follow up with her because, you know, you see them once somewhere and then you don't really see them again. So
right.
That's helpful.
Or you think you're going to remember their name and they'll say, oh yeah, just follow me on Facebook. And then it's 7 o'clock, you got home and everybody's hungry and you finally get supper made and you sit down and you're like, I have no clue what that woman's name was. Or you know her name and then there's like 10 of them to choose from. And their pictures are so small you can't tell who's who. Don't be afraid to say you don't know the answer. Like when you do go to a vendor event or any class, say, I don't know, but I'm going to look it up.
That is so duplicatable. We want people to be able to say, you know, I can do the same thing she did. She didn't know that she didn't have any answers. I can look it up just like she did.
Well, and a prime example is I sent to the Fiesta sisters last night. I'm like, help. One of my customers had bergamot on and got in a tanning bed. And she is red all over. And I was thinking the same thing, everything they said, but I said, this is what I'm thinking, but let me check with a couple other people, right? Sometimes you just need to say, let me check and let me see what I can do. And then that's third-party validation as well, which goes a long way. So at a vendor event, don't be afraid to say, you know what? I know somebody that has a little more experience with that. My friend Sue, her son rides dirt bikes and has always got something broken. Let me see what her regimen is for him to tell you about that. Or, you know, it's okay to say. Then they see we have resources too and other people. And I told that my friend that I signed up today, I said, people think when they call me, I just know this stuff. I just look it up and then respond back and say, this is what I found. You're not supposed to have your desk references and stuff out at vendor events. I have them on a different table, or I have them under the table and I'll say, let me look. Or I have an essential oil app where I can look and say, let me see what that is. And I don't sell a lot of stuff. Like, I know some people like to have things on hand and just sell it and go. I will take my extra of my overstock. So we have 3 orders that come through our house. So at one point we had like 3 bottles of Envision, right? And I already had 1 open. So I keep a backup, but then I had 2 extra. I'll take that with me, but I hardly ever have thieves or frankincense or purification, things that people ask for that have heard of Young Living but don't have a dealer or someone to buy from. I usually don't have the most common ones, but I still take them with me and I'll say, Lord, am I supposed to take this with me today? And sometimes the answer is no. So why do I want to pack it with me? But most of the time Yeah. And then I'll usually sell something from it. This time it was rosemary and a thieves. I did actually have an extra thieves.
And you sell it retail price.
Retail price. And I'll say, I can sell this to you today for $45, but if you want to get it to your house and save 24%, you can. And then sign them up that way. I've offered to give account credits for their shipping, because that's still money coming back to me, because when they use their account credit, that's still OGV or PV, coming back to me, versus if I just give them a $10 Amazon gift card or something like that, or send them an oil bottle to make a roller in. I gave the lady today a couple of those because she was here. But it's not something I would mail you. Yeah, and the cost of shipping. So I'll say, if you sign up with me today, everyone who signs up with me today, I will credit your account for the shipping, $9, because it's $8.99 or whatever it is, right? So that is something that I do. I gave away a Haven diffuser for everyone who enrolled, bought from me that day, got an entry to win a diffuser. That was right before they went on sale. That's one who had set my closet at the regular price for a year. And I thought, I haven't used it in a year. I need to get rid of it. The person who, then I just used one of those things, the wheels online. You can just put wheel to pick a name and it'll spin it. And I recorded it and then posted it on Facebook. And actually ended up being the lady who spent the most that day, but the wheel didn't know that. It just how it worked. And thankfully she lived really close and I could drop it off and I didn't have to mail it, because postage is expensive. I don't know if there's anything else that I do.
Any more questions?
Sarah, what do you do on a daily basis when you're not at vendor events?
I check my OGB every day. I don't always write it down, but I do check it. I look at whose orders are coming up due in the next couple days and reach out to them if they are. I absolutely hate when it makes me sick when somebody spends 97 PV or 185 PV or 248 PV because they're this close from getting free product or extra loyalty points. And I pick 5 or 6 products at different price ranges. Well, actually, they're all usually under 20 bucks or 20 PV. And I'll be like, hey, did you know that if you spent 5 more PV, you're going to get 10 loyalty points and your shipping's not going to change? I recommend a lavender lip balm and a Thieves dental floss, or I recommend orange essential oil vitality. It's 687 PV and it helps mood support. It is delicious in your blue moon. It is just a great uplifting oil. If you add that, you're going to get these points, and it's not going to cost.
What you just said was actually I'd written down to discuss, and it's something that we were talking about in a meeting the other day, and it's decision fatigue. People have decision fatigue. They don't want to make any more decisions.
Right.
So for you to say, if you spend $8 more, then you could get this, then they have to decide what to get, but you just recommended something to them.
Yeah. So I always recommend products that I use. I like if they're 15 away. Okay. You could be 15 PV away and well, I don't want to spend 15 more PV. I say, if you spend 15 PV more, you'll be at the 190 level on loyalty rewards, and you're getting $70 worth of product for that 15. And I suggest an item, and then I have no idea what the promos are or gifts with purchase are this month, so forgive me, but let's say it's Peace and Calming. And I'll say Peace and Calming is worth XYZ cost. And I use it this way. I have used it, diffused it. I like to diffuse it at bedtime. I like to diffuse it on a car trip. When work gets too much for me, I stop and I apply some and I take a deep breath with it. Think about your audience and who you're talking to. So what I do is I type all this stuff up and I save it in a OneNote for that month. And then I can just copy and paste that into the thing, the entire email. Hello. And then I put exclamation points or something. So I go back and remember to change the name. I see your order is going to process on, and I put exclamation points again. So I know the date. And then I have each section already typed out once. If you're at 100 PV, 192, 50, all that. So then I just take and copy and paste what I need from that and go through and do that. So I do that a few times a week. Obviously, I didn't do it soon enough for this lady this weekend, just because I was really busy. But that's something that I normally do. And then I usually make at least one post in my education group or Green Diamonds or some other group, somewhere where people are going to see it that provides a benefit to them. I'm not just making posts to make a post. Even if I've copied like that winter wellness group that's going on right now. So it was about mineral essence. I think a couple other of you maybe had shared that information too. It's great information. This group is ran by Diamonds. We're putting great content out there. You don't have to recreate the wheel. But then I copied and pasted that, but I put a caveat to it on my personal experience with that product. What else do I do? Follow up with other people. But I'm always doing something for my business every day. And I do research for myself so I can answer questions for people because I'm a nerd. I like to find research articles to back my stuff. Again, I'm a nerd. And with my nursing background, I like to have that as well. I like the scientific research on it. So if you call and ask me, I don't know, what oil to use for fungus on my toe, like people are going to usually say tea tree, right? Because we just say that. But what if there's something else? So I will go to PubMed.gov and I'll put in essential oils for toe fungus and look at the research articles for that. And if somebody is, I have a lot of friends in the medical field, right? So the Western medical field, so they need, we like to know why or how. I'll send them the article with my response. So that's kind of what I do.
Someone called me this week, and she's in the medical field, and she said that being in the medical field is actually hindered her from being duplicatable because people can't do what she does. They don't think the same way she does. Do you have that problem ever arise? She said she realizes she intimidates people, not intentionally, but because she is a green personality that researches everything and gives them so much scientific information. She said, I've realized I don't have leaders because I'm not duplicatable because they're intimidated.
I just this year started having people want to do the business with me. So I would say the answer is yes. But I also think you either love me or you hate me, and I'm okay with that because I either love you or hate you usually. So I'm sorry, Sue's laughing her head off, but that's just the reality of it, right? If she feels she's not duplicatable, she'll never be duplicatable. I've gone through those seasons. I don't necessarily know it's because of my detail. I think it's because I work constantly, and that's more of a detriment than my research. But I don't have hobbies. I don't have kids in sports. I I do this because I love it and enjoy it, and I'm blessed to get to make money while doing it. It doesn't, it is a job to me, yes, but it doesn't feel like work to me.
I agree. That's why I'm 66 years old, still doing it, because I still love it.
Yeah, and I think she can sell oils to people who think the same way she does. I have doctors, nurse practitioners, and other nurses on my team.
Yeah.
And I
She's
meet their,
she's looking for leaders. She's looking for other people to build a business, and she hasn't found them yet. And she's a leader. She has, I mean, I think she's a gold, or maybe a platinum even. She's not in my team.
yeah. I've been doing this as a business since January of 2018. And this is the first time I've had people actually say, I want to do this with you. So there's that.
Yes.
2020 to almost January 2023. So
You don't quit.
no, I'm not a quitter. Sorry, I didn't. My face was.
Okay, anybody have any more questions for Sarah? Our time is almost up, actually.
I
We have
apologize
about
for
15
my lack
minutes.
of being prepared.
We're just having conversations. This is what we do on Sunday afternoons.
I know, but I really wanted to like look at who I had enrolled so I had a better idea of my stats before.
We're
But
all disappointed in you.
I know I can feel it. Every one of you cared.
I think
Exactly.
you've covered it. You got your post that you sign a lot of people up from. You got your new church. You've established relationships. You forgot that Sarah is in charge of a lot of things. So you've met people there, vendor events, family and friends. I think you covered your new people.
Yeah,
You
I
said
just,
nobody's ever given you a person, like you don't get orphans.
I've had a few, but I mean, they're really hard. I've had trouble connecting to those people. I actually have an orphan, lives in my community, and now we go to the same church. And we used to work at the same hospital, but we don't have a relationship. I've reached out to her. She's kept her account active. She hasn't engaged with me at all. She isn't in my group. She gets my newsletters, and unless she's clicked the button to not. And that's okay. I don't have to be her friend. I work with her. And I think that's a big deal too. Is sometimes we get all caught up in our feels in this business, and you do become friends with your downline. Those are the people that become your friends because you have commonality and you hang out together, but you don't have to be their friend either. You can just be the person where their connection and that's how I word it. I'll be your connection to Young Living to get these products. But I think we have to remember that when you go to work at a brick and mortar store or a building, right? When I worked at the hospital, I had a lot of coworkers. I had people that worked under me. I worked under people. It doesn't mean that I had to be their friend every day. It doesn't mean I had to be their friend outside of work. So you may work with people in Young Living, or you may sign someone up, but maybe they don't give you all the squishy feels and you don't give it to them either. And they may not engage with you, but yet they're still buying and you're meeting their need. Then you have people who really want to be your friend and you don't want to be their friend, and that's where boundaries come in, and you have to figure out how to handle that. But I still listen. I still try really hard to listen to everyone and meet their need with our Young Living product. I'm not their counselor. Sometimes it turns into that, right? You have a little session, but I don't have the energy to give. And that is not my role in, as I see it in this business, to counsel someone, to give advice, to become their BFF. If an organic relationship comes away about that way, or someone's put in my path where I have a life experience that would benefit them, I do that. But I think there's a fine line there sometimes in listening and meeting their need versus dependence being built. You need to teach them how to find resources themselves as well.
That's empowering them. We're not being fair to them if we give them all the answers. But
Right.
if we can direct them where they will find them in the future, they can find their own, then that's empowering them. Then they can take care of themselves and we don't get overburdened.
Right. And I've had people message me before and I say, I'm at work right now. What I would normally do is Google it. If you Google it, if you Google and you don't find anything, you can reach back to me after work.
And
And
that's such a simple thing to tell them. You can Google it. And I tell them, Google, toe fungus, as you mentioned, and then in quotation marks, young living. If not, you're going to get all kinds of young toe fungus.
Right.
But if I tell them specifically to do that, then they're going to find answers themselves.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Nobody?
Come to Power Hour tomorrow. I always go to Power Hour.
Me too.
Even if I'm at work, I try to just listen and jot down a few things to do later.
That's when I get the things done you mentioned a few minutes ago, when you check on your virtual office and find out who is missing $3 or 3 PV to get their free product. During Power Hour, those are times that I can get stuff done. And especially being on Monday, the first of the week, it gets my week started thinking about the business, thinking about what I need to do this week.
And encourage people to bring a friend when you have an event, whether it's online or in person, if you're at a class. Because even if they don't want to do the business, you never know, that friend they bring could be your next best client, your next best customer, or could be your brand partner. You don't know. I know some people incentivize that. I haven't really done that, but
Okay, Casey, you're new and you keep showing up and keep asking questions. Is there something else you need here? We've all been where you are.
Oh, thank you. Y'all are the best. I feel super encouraged when I come to the meetings and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I get a little discouraged because I feel like I pushed really hard and got a Facebook page and I do a lot of Young Living content and I haven't gotten a whole lot of interest yet. So it's a little sad, but then I come to groups today like this and I'm like, okay, I can do it. And, I just need to maybe do more events and put myself out there. And it's also encouraging to hear Sarah talk and that she's a nurse, because I'm a nurse as well. So it's nice that she's a nurse. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I totally want to message her after this and be like, help, give me all your nurse tips with essential oils, because I feel like I have a lot of friends that are kind of like, oh, they're not super into essential oils. So maybe I need to find more research for them. So that was pretty exciting.
PubMed, pubmed.gov.
And I will tell you, the work that you do today, we have been taught this for years and I've watched it play out every single time. The work you do today, don't expect results or success from the work you do today. It'll come in 3 to 6 months from now. You're planting seeds all the time, but those seeds aren't going to sprout up right now. But in 3 to 6 months, you're going to see growth if you just continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really encouraging, because I feel like maybe somebody's seeing it, right? Like I want to help people lead cleaner lives and, just in general, I feel like there's so many toxins around. So it'd be nice to help. So it's like, oh my gosh, am I helping anybody? But occasionally somebody comments like, oh, okay, maybe it's helping. So that's encouraging. Y'all.
People watch without engaging a lot.
Yes. Anyone else? Any questions? We're about to close up here. So if you have something, this is the time. I will tell you, before everybody got on here, I put Vera Smith's address. I don't know how many of you know, but Vera had triple bypass surgery. And that night, this was a week or so ago, that night she had a stroke. So we know that she'll be in rehab for at least 3 more weeks. We don't know how long she's going to be there, but I put her address in case anybody wants to send her a Christmas card, because she's there and Murray stays with her day and night as much as he can. But Vera's a people person, and I saw today she was looking at her phone. He sent a picture. She was looking to see what's going on. She has speech therapy. It was a major stroke. So she's having some big trouble, but they think she'll have full recovery. But because she's such a vital part of this group, I went ahead and put her address in case anyone wants to send her a Christmas card. She
Where
would like-
did you put it?
It's on the chat. Do y'all see it?
No, I don't see it.
Does anybody see it? It was the first thing on the chat.
I don't see it.
Does anyone see that? No, you don't see it? Okay, let me put it again.
No, my first message is from Nicole.
Okay, let me do it again.
Mine is from Vivian Walters. I bet it's from whenever you got on, and if you did it before we got on, maybe we couldn't see it. I don't
You
know.
see it now? I'll just post it again.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, can she have visitors? I'm like an hour from her.
She can have visitors, but only, I think it's from 2 to 8 or 4 to 8 or something. It's only if you, because she works, rehab works her all morning. I think
Okay.
weekdays it's 4 to 8.
Okay.
Oh, is she a Tyler person?
She lives in Rusk, but she's in the hospital in Tyler.
Oh, I live in Bullard. That's neat.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, she's wonderful and she really needs some encouragement right now. But so I just thought somebody might want to send her a card.
that's sweet.
She has to do 3 we can't get off here because I'm still writing down the address. Can't close
Okay.
up.
I'm in no hurry.
I
Yeah.
need to eat. You have to do 3 hours of therapy a day to qualify for inpatient therapy to be covered. So that is why they're very strict on their visiting hours. Because otherwise, and it has to be highly, like, tons of documentation. Otherwise, insurances and Medicare won't pay for it.
Yeah.
So that is,
I'm almost positive it's during weekdays 4 to 8 in the afternoon is the
Yeah.
normal visiting hours.
day shifts over. So the daytime PTOT and speech therapist all go home. So, thanks for having me on.
Thank
hope
you
it's
so much.
helpful to somebody. I'm gonna get on the phone. I'm gonna go put cornbread in the oven and then get in the chat, hopefully, with Young Living. I feel all the lines are closed today except for the regular one, right? Like text and right?
If you send it to me, I can try to text Simon support. I don't know if they'll go through or not, but
I shouldn't utilize that for this.
well, if it will save a person,
She's already asked me to not send anything else to her and remove her from all of it. So I don't, she's got a bee in her bonnet already. It's okay.
Okay, I understand.
I'll just.
Y'all have a great week. Do you want to do this next Sunday? I mean, we're getting close to Christmas now. I'm here. It's up to, I don't care. Does
I'll
anyone?
be out of town.
So you want to just wait till after the holidays? Start over?
I think I'm baking next Sunday at my mom's.
Okay, let's just postpone this until further notice. How's that?
Till January.
Yes. 2023. Let's start off with a bang.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Merry Christmas, y'all. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You're awesome.
Hour in the morning. Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.